if you don't mind, I can even probably pull out that unreleased draft.
खुलके जीने का तरीका तुम्हें सिखाते हैं, बंदर दिल बैठा है चढ़कर जमीन से छत पे, हंस के देखो ना लतीफा तुम्हें सुनाते हैं.
Especially Rahman Saab's reaction was, Bandar, why has he written a song on a monkey?
हीरो हीरो आज हम तुम बन जाते हैं.
Be in those sitting rooms and those chairs where you know Gulzar Saab or Mehboob Saab or Javed Saab, Prasunji have been and worked. So it was almost like, okay, so now this is my exam, I got to perform.
मैं तुम्हारा रहा.
Some food was being ordered. So he said, okay, who all wants to have everything? Who's vegetarian, non-vegetarian? And he looked at me and said, you are both, so you don't have a problem.
Khalifa, 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 bare karam chale.
Tracking milestones of an incredible journey spanning more than 3 decades, Rahman Music Sheets. Now in World Records India as the world's longest running series on one composer. Hi friends, discover the top take as we uncover the wow factor in this episode. Do watch it till the end to grab this musical moment of the day.
Dil Bechara.
2020, Dil Bechara, a love story shaped by hope, heartbreak and farewell.
मेरा नाम किजी बासु है. क्यों है मत पूछो. मुझे कैंसर है.
Released after the untimely passing of Sushant Singh Rajput, it became his final goodbye to millions.
कुछ साल पहले मुझे ऑस्ट्रोसार्कोमा छू के निकल गया. But I'm a fighter.
In episode 258 of Rahman Music Sheets, lyricist Amitabh Bhattacharya took us behind 2 unforgettable songs from the film. If you missed it, catch it through the link in the description below.
एक था राजा, एक थी रानी. दोनों मर गए, खत्म कहानी.
A story about 2 lives racing against time.
पर कैंसर को हंसी और खुशी से प्रॉब्लम है.
Every moment carried the shadow of goodbye.
एक था राजा, एक थी रानी, दोनों मर गए, खत्म कहानी.
Yet, every song embraced the joy of living. Capturing that paradox in poetry, Rahman and Amitabh had to find a voice for those emotions between the lines.
खुलके जीने का तरीका तुम्हें सिखाते हैं.
Personally, Khulke Jeene Ka is one song I really enjoyed writing in this album. And I loved the melody. And it slightly reminded me of that, very classic Rahman Saab melody it was. And that accordion happening, that little old world, that French feeling that was coming into the song. So the songs that, his classic songs, the ones that he has done with Mani sir or, his songs from South. So it had that flavor, it's that very classic AR Rahman flavor it had. I loved the melody from the word go. And I had initially written something else on that, which I wanted to do a quirky, funny song on that. If you don't mind, I can even probably pull out that unreleased draft. Just give me a second. It must be on my email. Yes, it's there. I found it. Okay, my voice note is also there at the bottom of it. I'll play it, wait.
Kizzy and Manny, Paris love song, Scanning. बंदर दिल बैठा है चढ़कर जमीन से छत पे, सुंदर चेहरे ने है डाला इसे मुसीबत में, रुपहला चांद निकला है अंबर में बेपर्दा, प्यार इनका है 2 तरफा बेपरवाह, हिंदी फिल्मों के बेअदब गाने सुन के रातें जगते हैं इश्क में दोनों जल भुन के, बंदर दिल बैठा. ये आया रिकॉर्डिंग में साफ. So this is the mukhda of it. I can even remember the antar when I read it now. It was
लैला तो पढ़ती है कॉलेज में, मजनू की जनरल सी नॉलेज में, अपने घर से हर सुबह ठीक 9 बजे निकलती है, एक अतरंगी से रंग के स्कूटर पे चलती है चौराहे पे खड़ा मजनू रैप करके दिल को गिफ्ट में बंदर दिल बैठा. It was something like that. So it was a quirkier take on it. But when they heard it, I think Mukesh and Rahman Sahab, especially Rahman Sahab's reaction was, Bandar, why has he written a song on a monkey? So then I was like, no, that's my different take. Then we went to that, खुलके जीने का तरीका तुम्हें सिखाते हैं, that song.
खुलके जीने का तरीका तुम्हें सिखाते हैं.
शॉट नंबर 1, टेक नंबर 1, एक्शन.
4 years in the making, the film was finally ready for release.
तुम्हारा नाम किस ने रखा किसी?
But then, the world came to a standstill. The COVID lockdown delayed its journey to the audience. And just as the wait was about to end, tragedy struck. Sushant Singh Rajput passed away.
जन्म कब लेना है और मरना कब है हम डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते, पर कैसे जीना है वो हम डिसाइड कर सकते हैं.
You know, after Sushant Singh passed away, Mr. Rahman did something very unusual. I had spoken with Hiral Viradia, Mr. Rahman's associate on Dil Bechara. Let me show you what she had to say.
Because he dies in the film, Sushant, and then he has cancer in the film, and then so we've made it like really sad score and like to get that emotion out, obviously, because it's a. And now Sir said the whole nation is crying, everyone is talking about it and people are heartbroken. I'm getting goosebumps now. It's like everyone was affected and disturbed by this a lot. And Sir said we can't do this to people because our film is also sad and our music is also, it like people are already drowning and we can't drown them more. So we have to not make this score sound as sad as it's sounding right now, but let's try and picture him more heroic, that he is that hero we will always remember for all the good things that he has done and for everything that he was great at.
जन्म कब लेना है और मरना कब है हम डिसाइड नहीं कर सकते, पर कैसे जीना है वो हम डिसाइड कर सकते हैं.
So then he said, let's change some of the music here and there, and we ended up changing quite a lot, like 40-50% of the background score. So yeah, there's a lot to learn from him, things like these, that you've been paid all the money, everyone is happy, director is happy, you've delivered the film, you've re-edited and delivered the film, and yet it is your decision to, no, wait, I need to redo this. I can't do this to people. You realize the responsibility that music has.
मैं तुम्हारा रहा.
The way he changed the music of Dil Bechara, and then to promote the film, he did online concert.
Yes.
It appears that a film is not merely a professional assignment, it's much more, which perhaps cannot be expressed in words. How do you find this approach?
It was interesting, and especially that time, the COVID times, I remember, because everybody was from, connecting from home. Even if I'm not wrong, I also recorded something on phone, I'm forgetting right now, but something that I narrated with the title Dil Bechara that time, which was incorporated in that thing.
दुनिया को लतीफा सुनाए, खुल के जीने का तरीका सिखाए, तन्हा आईने में करे अपनी भीगी पलकों का नजारा, दिल बेचारा.
So that was the only way out, and I think, yes, that time with Sushant's passing away and everything, that event did hold some emotional value. It did mean a lot. It was a good gesture, I feel, on part of everybody and Rahman sahab.
ना हुए मेरे तो क्या.
Amitabh, Dil Bechara was meant for theatres, but was released on OTT.
Right.
Now there are many films that are meant for OTT right from the beginning. As a lyricist, when you write for a film to be released in cinema or a film straight to be released on OTT, is there a difference?
My personal experience, I can only speak about my experience, there's no difference in the process. But the outcome may vary. because a theatrical is a mounted in a different way. Its publicity happens in a different way. It gets eyeballs in a different way. And when it's on, whereas OTT is such a big platform now, but for some reason, at least with me, whenever I have written for albums that are with OTT, maybe they weren't so big or runaway hits, or they did not get so much footage, I would say. One song, a couple of songs does happen. Like, for example, even Mimi was a OTT film. But the song Param Sundari at that point in time took off. It really took off. But the rest of the album did not so much. It did not. So, in my experience, the bigger success that I've seen, or the bigger acceptance that I've seen, has been with theatrical releases, definitely.
I will be coming to Param Sundari soon, but before that, I want to talk about your first collaboration with Mr. Rahman, Lekar Hum Deewana Dil.
Don't abuse me. Don't touch me. Calm down. Calm down.
2014, Lekar Hum Deewana Dil, the debut film of Arman Jain, grandson of Raj Kapoor, directed by Arif Ali, brother of Imtiaz Ali. But for lyricist Amitabh Bhattacharya, it marked the beginning of a new journey. His first collaboration with AR Rahman.
When you first got associated with Mr. Rahman, you were already an established lyricist. But the fact remains that you were, I think, merely 16 when Roja was released, and perhaps grew up listening to his songs.
Absolutely.
Now you were with him as a lyricist, on a chair where Gulzar Saab, Javed Saab, Mr. Vairamuthu, Prasoon Joshi had sat. You were filling that place. Did you even realize that? What memories do you have that very first meeting with Mr. Rahman?
So, interestingly, I remember it clearly also. My first meeting with Rahman Saab was actually here in Mumbai, because I remember it was the year, it was end of 2012 or beginning of 2013, around the time when I got a call from the producer, Mr. Dinesh Vijan, and he said that he had worked with me earlier, and he said that he wanted to do a film or an album where he wanted me and Rahman Saab to collaborate and sort of, capture that chemistry and flavor. And obviously it was almost like, at that point in time, it was like a dream come true for me. I was very excited कि Rahman Saab के साथ काम करने को मौका मिल रहा है. Always I used to think कि sooner or later, eventually, I hope I get a chance to work with him. So basically I remember me, the director of the film Lekar Hum Deewana Dil, Arif Ali, the two of us, we went to Rahman Saab's Powai studio, the one which he has in Powai, his residence cum studio. We went there, and it was later in the evening, and it was, I think, the month of December or January, one of those times. And Rahman Saab was at an event at that time, somewhere, I think in Taj Hotel or some hotel, he was there for an event. So we went and we waited there for a couple of hours. And me being obviously an ardent fan of Rahman Saab, like zillions of other people, I had butterflies in my stomach that today I'm going to finally meet Rahman Saab, And so eventually a couple of hours later, he came and he said, sorry, I got delayed and all. I have forgotten what I was wearing, but I remember what he was wearing. So since he came from the event, he was like in a, I think it was a maroon or deep blue long kurta with a lot of, Nakashin work done on it. And he was in trousers and some shoes and whatever. That's how he was dressed. And he reached, and obviously we stood up, and I was waiting to finally, have some exchanges with him. And Rahman Saab, what I realized at that point in time was, which I realize now actually, is that he himself, I think he's very shy, and he doesn't open up or, interact with people one-on-one much, at least in the first couple of meetings. So that time he was talking to Arif because they had met a couple of times earlier, and but I just couldn't control my excitement, and I put forward my hand for a handshake. So he awkwardly he shook that hand, and I saw that he wasn't comfortable. But anyways, then we went into the studio, discussed a little bit about the film and the characters and the situations, etc. And then very politely he was going to have dinner, so he asked us to join him for dinner. So we went into the dining section and we were at the table, and then food was coming, some biryani and homemade, sabzi dal, that kind of stuff. And he was very gracious. He stood up and he served us himself. So that was a wonderful feeling. Wow, I'm sitting with Rahman Sahab at his dining table and, he's serving me on my plate himself. And that was a beautiful feeling. And there was one very funny thing happened. So, it's a common joke. As we often say, when somebody is a non-vegetarian or if somebody is a vegetarian, you don't need to specify both. If you're a non-vegetarian, obviously you do eat vegetables also. You also are a vegetarian. So he asked me, are you a vegetarian? And I don't know why it slipped out of my mouth. I am both. So he smiled and he served me the biryani. And interestingly, much later, one of the sessions in Chennai in his studio, one day we were there till late working and some food was being ordered. So he said, okay, who all wants to have everything? Who's vegetarian, non-vegetarian? And he looked at me and said, you are both, so you don't have a problem. So that was very funny. Yeah, so that's one thing I remember very clearly.
Amitabh, someone you have idolized, in this case Mr. Rahman, when you meet that person, can you really be yourself?
See, that's the interesting part. One does try to become something else, but the thing is, a fan cannot help but be himself. So for me, it was a fanboy moment. So in the moment I gave in, and the fan totally came out, and I was totally in his awe, and with butterflies in my stomach, and with fumbles in my mouth. Yeah, that's how I met him for the first time. I remember.
By then you had already worked with some of the biggest and celebrated composers. Every composer has a very unique style to create music. While working with Mr. Rahman, was there something different, something unusual that you noticed? Maybe his process or his instincts?
See, I'll answer that question in two parts. Firstly, you mentioned earlier also that I was an established lyricist that time. But the truth is, actually, I wasn't that established. I was just, you can say, a couple of full albums old. Like usually what happens, an upcoming lyricist does a few singles, one here or there in various albums or films. So that time I remember the full albums that I had done, which had been somewhat noticed and accepted, were a film called Band Baja Barat. Then there was a film called Agnipath. These had happened. And simultaneously, while I was working with Rahman Sahab on Lekar Hum Deewana Dil, I was working on Ye Jawaani Hai Deewani with Pritam. I was working on Lootera with Amit Trivedi. Exactly on the same timelines, because they released also pretty near. Jawaani Deewani released in May 2013, Lootera released in June or July 2013, and I think later that year Lekar Hum Deewana Dil also happened, it also released. So I was working on those albums same time. So the fact that I am an accepted or noted lyricist hadn't sunk in that much. I was still in the process of exploring myself and finding myself while collaborating with all the people that I was doing. Like, I started my career with Amit Trivedi. We did a few albums together. A few albums with Pritam came in. I was working on them. I was working with Ajay-Atul, Salim-Sulaiman, Vishal-Shekhar, all simultaneously. So I was still enjoying the process that, okay, this is interesting. I can get, write songs and I can do full albums, one song at a time. So at such a point in time, to be very honest, when the job with Rahman Sahab came in, because I was a big fan, I had listened to all his recent works spanning over the previous 10 years. And so at that point, I was a little intimidated, I would admit. I thought that, am I still ready enough to, work with Rahman Sahab? And the reason being, because the albums that I had heard, loved and looked up to were the albums that he had done with Javed Sahab, Gulzar Sahab, Prasoon Ji, Mehboob Saab, you know. So just from my subconscious, a thought came, am I still ready enough? A thought came, and that's what I told producer Dinesh Vijan also at that point in time, that are you sure I'll be able to pull it off? Am I still ready enough to do it? He said, just don't think about it too much. I've seen your process. You just react to melodies and there's a spontaneity about how you go about your work. Just go with the flow. Trust me, you'll enjoy it. And so I came on board with a little bit of apprehension, okay, or rather I would say with the consciousness that, okay, I have to now perform and I have to, like you said, I was going to be in those studios and be in those sitting rooms and those chairs where you know, Gulzar Saab or Mehboob Saab or Javed Saab, Prasunji have been and worked. So it was almost like, okay, so now this is my exam, I got to perform, that kind of feeling. But like it happens, you know, once you get into the flow of the process, once I get a melody, I've always mentioned it in a lot of my interviews, is, you know, my primary tool, my primary source of inspiration or primary trigger is the melody. So once the moment I get a melody and I start humming it and start putting words to it, then one thing comes after the other. And with Rahman Saab also, from day one, like song 1, song 2, it just fell into place casually. The good part was, by the time we finished the album, that initial awkwardness that I had with him in interaction and conversation, that had broken, and we were having conversation, and you know, I was asking, obviously I had a zillion questions as a fanboy. How did this song happen? Arey wow, I entered the studio and oh wow, Roja has happened here, Bombay has happened here, Thiruda has happened here. So I was just mesmerized with that whole, you know, euphoria and that feeling, you know. So yeah, that was a beautiful, beautiful, memorable experience.
Dil Bekasur hai kitna.
Coming up next, an album that dared to sound different. Lekar hum Deewana Dil.
Aisa aisa kya pata, kaun kaisa kya pata.
A word like Khalifa found its way in a dance number.
Khalifa, Khalifa, Khalifa bade karam chale.
How an email from Slumdog Millionaire director Danny Boyle became a song. With new words, new voices, new musical worlds, Amitabh Bhattacharya returns in the next episode of Rahman Music Sheets. Stay with us.
Dil hai magar seena lagta hai khali.
He asked us to join him for dinner. So we went into the dining section and we were at the table, and then food was coming, some biryani and homemade, you know, sabzi dal, that kind of stuff. And he was very gracious. He stood up and he served us himself. So that was a wonderful feeling. Wow, I'm sitting with Rahman Saab at his dining table and, you know, he's serving me on my plate himself. And that was a beautiful feeling.
Do you agree that this indeed was the moment of the day? Is your choice different? Whatever your mind says, write it in the comments section below. We will be waiting. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the bell icon and stay entertained.